In this video, I am going to review this new entry into the hardtail e-mountain bike segment, the Velotric Summit. FC here from E-MTB, and I'm happy to let you guys know about a new entry into that growing hardtail e-mountain bike segment, the Velotric Summit. If you want this bike, click on the links in the description and it will help this channel out. But this is a really cool development in the e-bike space where now we're getting hardtails into e-mountain biking, and the main reason for them is cost. You know, instead of 5 to 10,000 or 5 to 15,000, now we're talking, you know, 1,500 to 3,000. And this one was $17.99, you know, just a couple days ago. Now it's $19.99. Sorry about that, but part of the e-bike and lithium tariffs, taxes that the US is doing on Chinese products, this is affected, as well as pretty much most of the e-bikes out there that are made in China. So 20%, 25%, very sad. So this bike is from a company called Velotric, a very innovative new company, a lot like Aventon, where they sell direct. So they give you a lot for your money, but they're also establishing a dealer network. So they have both now. And I got this one direct. The packaging was impeccable. Everything was boxed separately, and there was no way they could scratch each other. And the instructions were very good. So hats off to them for that. And Velotric looks like they have really good leadership, good customer support. You know, I'm talking to PR people in the UK instead of translators from mainland China. So that was refreshing. So they really paid attention to quality, packaging, and testing. Safety is very key. So the UL tested, you know, the battery and the chargers, and then they do a lot of testing themselves. Extreme temperatures, heat, and cold. They're very proud of that. Okay, what about the bike? It's a hardtail, and you know, it's done for cost, but they have 27.5 wheels with bigger tires, 3.0, and you could put bigger tires here on the rear, maybe a little 3.5, give you more cushioning, and that's good for a hardtail because a lot of unsprung mass on an e-bike on the rear. So anything you could do to soften your tire pressure is a good idea. And they do have suspension in the front, 120 mil. It's a class 3 e-bike with a trigger, a throttle, one of the most easy to use throttles that I've seen. Shimano shifting, Shimano brakes. So, and a hub motor. The hub motor is a big thing because it's a little harder to do on a mountain bike because the weight distribution is a little off, and the motor doesn't benefit from the gearing. So you can't, even though you change into a low gear, the motor is not affected by that because it's not connected to the gears. So it has to work a lot harder. A little mountain bike influence is it is a dropper post ready with internal routing, and it's got big bars. I think 780 or 800 bars with a 40 mil or 35 mil stem. Just fascinating. Really cool lights, by the way, on the front, and on the rear I think it's just a battery operated one. So let's get on with the riding video. I rode this thing tons, really pushed it well beyond what I think most users are going to use it for. And come back with me at the end and I'll tell you about pros and cons of this bike. All right, on with the bike testing. Go with the hard stuff right away. And this is a very steep hill, over 10% grade. And one thing you'll notice is I am pressing the throttle, so I'm pedaling hard. But on this particular hill, the bike had a hard time maintaining speed. But if you press the throttle, the trigger has no problem. It has more than enough power. It just needs to be delivered a little earlier in the firmware or in the logic. But for my version of the bike, all I need to do is, you know, press the throttle to maintain momentum. And then here, it's gonna get exciting. I'm gonna hit the dirt. Right here, this is steep, rutted little single track. And boom, I'm pedaling hard. Got the throttle going. And this thing is handling terrain. So I think this is where a lot of people are gonna benefit from this bike. You can take the path least taken, you know, explore those dead-end roads, see where they lead, explore some fire roads, and often you'll discover spots like this. Just amazing vistas. Explore your neighborhood. And right here, I'm doing a climb here. And again, when you have a lot of momentum, the bike can handle it on its own with assist. But if you don't have a lot of momentum, that's when I press the throttle, low gear situations. And this is where this thing really excels. And here's my view. Now you see what I see and why I'm so happy to expose people to this kind of bike. You know, you get to venture out in the roads less taken, the neighborhood hills, so to speak. And I have a lot of that, living in the Bay Area, Silicon Valley, surrounded by mountains. Right there, big branding, huh? On the Velotric logo. And here's my view, doing that same trail from a GoPro. You can hear the noises of the bike. Motor is quiet, but there's some chatter here and there. Probably when you do a lot of terrain like this, I would lower the pressure a little bit. I had it a little bit hard. I would set it as low as possible, maybe 12 psi, 14 psi, and I would convert these tires to tubeless. Currently they have tubes, so they are prone to flats, and you can't lower pressure so much when you have tubes because you might pinch the tubes. But yeah, right there, low speed. I like the position of the bike. I would probably add a dropper post to this thing just to ease sections like this. You can see how I'm hanging off the back. On a dropper post, you don't need to hang off the back. You can just lower the seat post. And what's following me here is a drone, a DJI Mini 4 Pro. We do have a drone channel, Drone Tech Review. It makes a lot of my filming easy because the drone can really follow me. All right, this is the Velotric Summit. First few minutes with it. All right, a little bit of the basics here. There. Riding the bike, no motor. Going 10 miles an hour. So it is a bike with no rolling, no motor resistance. And then I turn it on right there. Beautiful display on this thing. Center mounted, easy to read. And the controls are very good as well. You know, the low, high mode. They say it's switchable, class 1, 2, 3. I think on the some of the levels, it maxes out to 20 miles an hour. So that's a class 2 level. All right, right here, this is a big deal because this is my proving ground for mountain bikes, if they can handle this hill. And I've never taken a hub motor bike on this hill. It climbs 500 feet in 1 mile, so pretty steep. So right there on that first hill, I was bogging down a little bit on my own power. Even on turbo mode, it wasn't delivering enough motor power, so I would just press the throttle to assist me, you know, to get the desired turbo assistance that I'm expecting. Right there, I'm pressing the trigger. The motor has power. It just needs to deliver it so I can have some momentum. You know, these motors anyway, since they don't have the benefit of shifting gears, they do well. They like momentum. The faster you are, the more they're able to stretch their legs. Oh, speaking of stretching legs, I speed it up for the video, and then I'll catch it back up near the top. So surprising. Like I said, first hub motor mountain bike that I've taken up this hill, and it's doing pretty well. It's a sturdy build. I think they overbuilt it just to make sure It can handle your adventures, and it can handle bigger riders. You're 250 pounds, 300 pounds, this bike can handle you. Very sturdy build. Used to be $17.99, great value, and now $19.99 because of tariffs, and still a good value. Bear in mind that every bike out there manufactured in China will have this price increase. All right, now we take it on a downhill, and this is where I had serious doubts. I said, "Oh man, the weight balance is off. It's a hardtail. I'm not gonna have any fun on this downhill, which is a steep downhill. I'm gonna take the option part, the harder part." And right there, it's doing well. I believe I adjusted my seat post as a quick release seat post. You really need to lower your seat when you're gonna do steep and fast downhills. It's right there. Tires have pretty good traction. Also, this is early in the year when our trails were pretty firm. I would change the front tire if you ride a lot in loose dirt in the summer. And right here, this is a very technical part. Very narrow, loose, and I believe there's a, yeah, look at that. Lots of ruts. But pretty well sorted. Brakes are Shimano, nice control. The shifting is Shimano. So not bad at all. All right, so what do you guys think? So the pros is the packaging, you know, compelling price point under $2,000 is huge, because I was like already praising the $3,000 bikes. So under two is pretty darn good, and you know they have a lot of nice touches, nice grips, Shimano, even the pedals. Look at that. You know, these are not expensive pedals, but they're the right profile. Nice pins to it. Little usable shock, and the fact of the decision on the 3.0 tires, I think, is very good. So quality as well is right there. Very supportive company when you need help. And then the app, the display is awesome. And then it also has an app. The app has even find my bike or find my iPhone feature, meaning you can track this bike. Someone you left it on the trail or someone steals it, you can track it with your phone. So very cool. Very usable as well. I think especially for bike paths, you know, a little beach action, a little off-road. You're touring a national park. Park your car somewhere and go 70 miles on this. This motor is strong. 750 watts, 1300 peak, and 90 newton meters of torque. Pretty darn good. And they're claiming 70 miles on kind of the standard flat roads where people test their e-bikes on. So on the disadvantage front, it is heavy, 63 pounds, and a lot of the weight is on the rear. So you know, you don't be flying and jumping this thing. So it, you know, for a hardtail, it's quite heavy. And then another disadvantage is the Q factor. You know, the length, how far apart your pedals are from each other is kind of wide. It's more fat bike style, 230 millimeters, and 180 is what I'm used to. Granted, this has a little bit of a big tire, but it shouldn't be that wide. I think they could do some work to narrow it down. And the final weakness that I found is, you know, on the steepest hills, where you're barely getting going, it doesn't give you all the power that it has. You don't get the 90 newton meters and 750 watts because your speed is low. You know, it's like a commuter bike. It waits till you got 5 to 6 miles an hour before it gives you the full power. And I think, I'm not sure, maybe they're trying to preserve the temperature of the hub motor, but I think they could have done, they could adjust that a little more, and they could do that with firmware. And the reason I know that is because when I was bogging down, when I was stalling, I hit the trigger and then boom, with the trigger you can access all the power. So you know, that's just a little disadvantage, because you do have an out, which you could hit this cool the throttle, but they can make a firmware adjustment in the future, and they really listen to my input on this. I say, hey, need a little more, you know, because on some steep trails I couldn't get going, but with the throttle, boom, the thing has plenty of power. So there you go. Glad to bring this to your guys' attention. Velotric is a company that keeps evolving. I've tested a bike from them, and this is kind of wow. A lot of R&D went into this from their first one, which I think was a single speed, but really cool, really cheap, and really usable. So check their site here for their other options on their lineup if this is not the right one for you. Thanks a ton, everybody.